Okay, hello. Welcome to the My Best 7 Global Podcast Series. I am Mark. It's easy to distinguish me between Jessica because she speaks in Portuguese. We've made some changes or positive changes. We have an introduction in English, an introduction in Portuguese. So we're going to jump right into our podcast without having to explain who we are. This podcast is all about finding flow. Concept The term might, I don't know, it's been out since the 70s, so could this term actually be new to somebody? I'm not sure if it's new anymore, being out that long. You probably experienced flow, I hope, at least once, and then you kind of go, wow, that was awesome. How do I get that back? And so what we want to do is kind of define flow, talk about flow from the My Best 7 framework, and then try to figure out some strategies to get flow, again, from our kind of our framework. And so what is flow? You can have flow in any aspect of life, whether you're playing soccer or doing math, cleaning the house, doing a podcast, and it's the feeling of being so absorbed that nothing else is out there, is around you. So if you played sports, that's a real common thing when you're in flow, and you don't hear the crowd, you don't hear the yelling and screaming. If you're taking an exam, I had an experience one time where I really did well on an exam. I got into flow, and it was like I was there all on my own. When 2 minutes before, I thought I was going to fail, and then all of a sudden, it hit me. And so I'm completely absorbed. Why? Why do I get completely absorbed? Well, you have to have your skills have to match the challenge. Right? And so if you are doing something that's super boring, like if you play basketball and you go play on a 7-foot rim against third graders and you're an adult, the first few big shack dunks are enjoyable. And after that, it gets pretty old. So it gets boring. Your skills are too greater than the challenge by a lot. If the challenge is greater than your skills, then it's impossible to feel flow as well because you just feel overwhelmed. And you might actually end up in boredom because it's if I go bowling, bowling's a fun example. I'm a 126, maybe a 132. So if somebody's bowling 200, I mean, you got no shot at it, right? It's overwhelming at the start, but then when you go, I've got no shot at it, then it's just kind of, it's just bowling. It's it's not good or it's not bad, but I'm certainly not in flow. The goals have to be clear to you. When you're in flow, the goal, the task at hand is all that matters. And generally speaking, I mean, really, really 99.99%, I don't know of a way it's not. It's an internal type of goal. It's not external to you. It's for enjoyment. It's for the challenge. It's to master the task at hand. It's not for money. You're not hanging on the edge of winning and losing thoughts. It's the task, mastering it, doing a good job, enjoying it. I think as well, and when people describe flow, I know for myself, it's a feeling of effortless. It's a feeling that I played lots of basketball. When the ball seems to go in all the time, it doesn't actually feel like you really shot it. It doesn't feel, there's no effort to it. And then when you shoot it, it seems like there's this notion of, it's probably debatable that time stands still. It doesn't, but because the clock is still ticking. But boy, it feels like it, and it just feels like there's nothing else there. You shoot it and you watch it. I did that one time overseas, and you shot it. I thought, that thing's in the air forever. And it couldn't have been, right? 3.5 rotations it in. That didn't take that long. It felt like it. From all of our podcasts, besides our exercise videos certainly have the slant of the 7 success traits of your body. We try to, our platform are those 7 success traits of elite athletes that we apply to everybody. And so, from that perspective, flow makes a lot of sense to us. It's easy for us to talk about it because it's about your skill sets. You have the right skill sets for the challenge. Elite people use psychological skills, so they go in prepared. Right? So again, if I go in prepared to a challenge, I'm not overwhelmed. I can meet it because I have my skill sets correct, right? So it just kind of piles on top of each other of good things. I'm internally motivated. I'm not worrying about the outcome. Yeah, the outcome's there. People aren't, people aren't dumb. They know there's an outcome, but in the midst of the deal, you just go do the job, the task at hand. And then elite people are emotionally stable, and that's always not always, but it feels like a contentious thing. You say, well, this person in the heat of the battle of sport or the boardroom or wherever else in life, they're great at it. But man, when they step outside that, they're a ticking time bomb and they have no self-control. But those 7 success traits, they're honed into the task that the person is doing, right? And so if the person steps out of their arena, then these things break down because they're not elite at it. They're not elite. And the $1,000,000 question, of course, is, how do you find flow? That's been sought after and researched for, well, since the mid-70s. And we believe, I do, Jessica does, we believe you can find more flow by using that My Best 7 framework. We want to, before we give some of those strategies, it is hard to find flow in team sports if your teammates are selfish. And that really, sometimes that's like self-awareness, like you're the selfish one and you're not getting the ball or getting opportunities because you're the selfish one to others. And so then they, well, boom, they turn around and are selfish to you. So as a small little thing to remember, team sports, a lot harder to get into flow because you have to have everybody on board with the task at hand. So here's some kind of My Best 7 strategies to get in more flow. First of all, we have our video up on My Daily I Am. That's a great way to get started, to give yourself a chance during the day, is start with a clear goal and actions that actually help you accomplish that goal. And when you're really clear on that goal and those actions actually meet getting you to that goal, you have a much better chance of being in flow. Second, you got to challenge yourself. You have to seek out challenge. Tony Robbins talks about one of the human things that we have. I don't know, our innate desires is to be inquisitive, right? To find something new, and I think that's kind of true. In a way, that could hurt flow actually because you go outside your arena, and so right now we're talking about you wake up, you've got your daily I am, you've got your goal, you've got your action items, and then you go seek a challenge that meets those, right? And so when we talk more about goal setting in future podcasts, again, dream goals, tons of fun. Long-term goals, mostly fun. Short-term goals, sometimes not as much fun, but those are the effective ones. So it's moderate difficulty, just a little bit above. So it's moderate, just a little bit above that is where you seek a challenge. Last one, get in shape. I can go on that forever. It is really difficult to find flow. Let's say you're a novelist. Your fingers don't type because they're not in typing shape. I know that's silly, but if they're not, well, how are you going to get it done? I guess you could dictate it. If you play sports and you're not in shape, it's real difficult to find flow for very long because you might have the skill sets to meet the challenge, but the challenge has a physiological demand to it, and then you cannot meet that demand. When your body lets you down, it's impossible to find flow, unless it's, well, it could be something else. I kind of think of what that something else is. It could be a mental task, right? So maybe being having the best cardiovascular system doesn't kill you in that standpoint. So our point is flow is fun. It's something that's been talked about for a long time. We help our strategies and our definitions all the way down to our strategies help you find more flow. So Actually, the Finding Flow topic came from us with a question, comment from one of my guys, main guys, and main hoopsters in Estonia. We are global. And as always with us, we want to say be sure to give it to a friend. Go find an enemy. Our world needs less hatred. Go find an enemy, make the enemy a friend. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a ton.